Scott.
This is Scott.
Coming in at number 5, 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street. In a decade filled with slashers, filled with horror, this is probably the most inventive and smartest one of them all. And along with critically and commercially successful. This is probably the number 1. Friday the 13th, very popular franchise too. Love Friday the 13th. I thought about putting it on this list. Maybe I should have, maybe I shouldn't have, but they aren't great films, let's be honest. And horror gets snubbed a lot. It really does, but this one is both, like I said, critically and commercially good. Based on a true story, too, about these kids that couldn't sleep over and wherever they were. But, it's almost like, how are you going to beat the slasher? He comes at you with your dreams. What are you, not going to sleep forever? Then you're going to die. So it's a lose-lose for you. Honestly, Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger in his first role, good stuff. The series starts to dwindle down through, 4, 5, 6. But this is the one that holds up and is very enjoyable. And it has stood the test of time. And a young Johnny Depp, his first role, I believe, or his first major role. So, cute as a button. Can we agree on that? And his little Nike vest, his little, yeah. So that was good. But no, Wes Craven, the horror man. This holds up. Scream is going to be on another list of mine. Don't know if it's going to be 90s movies list, horror movies, but that's one of my favorites also. This and Scream are his 2 best movies, I believe. And he's had plenty. And I've seen most of them, so I know what I'm talking about. But if you're not a huge fan of slashers, at least check this one out. I mean, it's about a group of kids that Freddy Krueger goes through people's dreams. And he's kind of an old legend around these parts. Let's just say the parents of these kids had something to do with his death. So that's why he's coming after these kids. I don't want to spoil too much if you haven't seen it, but go check it out.
Daylight come and me want go home.
Also, are you doing
Work
this?
all night and a drink a rum. Daylight come and me want go home. Stack banana till the morning come. Daylight come and me want go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me want go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me want go home. Live 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch. Daylight come.
Alright guys, coming in at number 3 is 1988's Tim Burton masterpiece. Did I say number 3? I meant number 4, sorry. But 3 and 4, these are like neck and neck. But anyways, it's Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton is Beetlejuice. Now, this decade had a lot of quirky movies, a lot of weird, quirky movies, but this is among the best and my favorite Tim Burton movie of all time, beating Scissorhands, beating Ed Wood. What is not to love about this movie? I mean, this is a movie you can pop on late at night, or really anytime, but, I mean, it's just such a rewatchable movie, and Michael Keaton is so funny as Beetlejuice. I mean, basically, it's just about these husband and wife that gets killed, and they come back as ghosts, which they don't realize at first. They just come back to their house. They're ghosts. And it's being taken over by a new family. and only the girl can see them. And desperate times calls for desperate measures. You say Beetlejuice's name 3 times, and that's what you get. And once you got him, he's hard to get rid of. Let's just say that. But Michael Keaton is Beetlejuice. I mean, perfect role for that. I mean, he's just so zany as him. It's just crazy. But it's really hard to put in a nutshell what this movie is. It's just one of those quirky 80s, early 90s type movies. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's got a young Winona Ryder, who's the mother on Stranger Things now. Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, Michael Keaton, a good cast. And it's just a movie that wouldn't come out today. I mean, it probably would now because we're remaking everything from the 80s. So let's put Beetlejuice on the list. I will not be surprised if there's a sequel or a reboot, remake, rehash, redash, redo, rewind, whatever you want to read it. But Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. That's all I'm saying. Great movie. I mean, what's not to say? That hasn't already been said. Just go check it out, okay?
You could go say hi to him, too.
Yeah, but he's your neighbor.
Well, no, he's your neighbor as well.
No, but I'm over. You share a property line with me.
Yeah,
You're like,
we're all on the same block, so, I mean, you could go, too. So.
no, we're all in the same town, too, but you're right next to him. If he was ever going to borrow anything, he'd come over to your place.
Well, he's busy now.
No, he's not busy. Now, look, he's going go now because he's going back in. If you were going to say hi, you should probably, there he's going into the hut. You're going to lose him because he's going to go in. Well, there, now you've blown it, haven't you?
No, I didn't blow it.
Chicken?
He went into his house.
Chicken?
I'm not chicken because he went into his house.
Well, he went into his, you look like a chicken in front of your son and everything. Your son.
Come on. It was all suddenly such
Hey,
a
hey,
big
hey,
deal.
hey,
Let's just
it's a
say
joke.
hello.
Hey,
You're going to start selling chicken.
why
Let's go say
so
hello.
edgy?
Come on.
Try decaf.
Come on. They're daring each other to ring the doorbell.
We shouldn't stare like this.
When we both go inside and say hello, are you chicken? Go for it, Mr. Peterson. Yes.
Now everybody's watching us.
Get going, man.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I'll go in with you. Sure, right. Okay, no problem. Let's go. You notice, but there's bars in the basement windows here.
Alright, like I said, 3 and 4 was a tie. It really is, it still is, but I think I can rewatch this one a few more times. It's 1989's The Burbs. An underrated, it's become a cult classic at this point, but just a great zany late 80s quirky type movie, kind of like Beetlejuice. Tom Hanks, Bruce Dern, Carrie Fisher, really good cast. I mean, it's just about just hanging out in the suburbs until a group of unsavory characters moves next door, and curiosity gets the better of everybody. Everybody wants to know what's going on next door. There's weird noises. There's lights going off. Tom Hanks is having visions of them burying people in the backyard. It's just a very rewatchable movie. It's got some funny parts to it. It's kind of like a horror black comedy type deal, but just so rewatchable. And I think what I love about this movie and movies like it, it's because it takes place at a simple setting, like just in a neighborhood, but everybody thinks something crazy is going on. It's just something that I would want to happen to me. It's kind of relatable. It's like, oh, I wish like a group of people I knew group of kids in the neighborhood started spying on some strange, creepy house. You know, that would be fun. Then, you know, we'd investigate what was going on. We'd be up late at night with binoculars looking out of our windows with BB guns, waiting for one of them to step foot outside. Then we'd knock him in the eyeball. You know, that's the stuff I want. You know what I'm saying? So, but no, on my street, we just, there was a couple dogs that ran around. And surprisingly, the neighbors had chickens. So, that was the highlight. Anyways, great cult classic movie. Go check it out. We're moving into number 2. Number 2, the greatest vampire movie of all time. No, it's not Twilight. It's not Twilight 2. It's not Twilight 3. It's The Lost Boys. 1987's The Lost Boys. Great 80s movie. Okay, when you think of 80s movies, or when I do, this is right up there. And number 2, obviously. I mean, the classic 80s stars, too. Jason Patric, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman. Whoa. I mean, the score, not the score, but the music. Cry, little sister. Oh, down, down. And this movie alone is worth watching on the basis of Tina Turner's saxophone players in here. Shirtless, with a ponytail, baby-oiled, Criscoed on, 6-pack abs, playing a saxophone. Okay? Now, when you see that scene, your life will be changed forever. And you won't need nothing else. That's all you'll need. And you can keep coming back to that scene. Time and time again. Synopsis. Basically, this movie is about a little family moving to Santa Carla. And it's the vampire capital of the world. And these teenage vampires, they run the show here. And somehow Jason Patric gets up and involved with a girl that kind of belongs to one of them. Not really, sort of. And they turn him into a vampire. A blood-sucking vampire. And Kiefer Sutherland's in this also. Great young Kiefer Sutherland. And this is just a good time all around. It really is. It's really a good period piece for the 80s to showcase it. The boardwalk, just in California, just a great movie. I don't really know what else to say about it. If you want a good vampire movie, this is the best one. It's up there. Fright Night's another good one of the same decade. But I highly recommend this movie, and it's at number 2 on my list. Guys, I don't know where my number 1 movie went to. Hold on. I hear something. Let's go check it out. Cry, little sister. Cry, Pee-wee, what are you planning on doing? Pee-wee, I told you you weren't on the list to begin with. It's nothing personal. You just didn't cut it. Now drop the Breakfast Club and get off of the toilet. Son of a, I didn't want to do this.
Saturday, March 24th, 1984. Shermer High School, Shermer, Illinois. 60062. Dear Mr. Vernon, we accept the fact that we had to sacrifice a whole Saturday in detention for whatever it was we did wrong. And what we did was wrong. But we think you're crazy to make us write an essay telling you who we think we are. What do you care? And you see us as you want to see us. In the simplest terms, the most convenient definitions. You see us as a brain, an athlete, a basket case, a princess, and a criminal. Correct? That's the way we saw each other at 7 o'clock this morning. We were brainwashed.
Alright guys, here's number one. 1985's John Hughes classic, The Breakfast Club. This is the quintessential 1980s movie. This is the movie that is passed down to kids today. This is the movie that is referenced as far as teen movies, 80s movies. It's referenced in shows. It's referenced in, I mean, this movie still holds up to this day, and is still talked about among, you know, the masses. It's definitely the most popular 80s film, I would say. That's just my opinion. And it really speaks to you. It's not a comedy. It's not nothing like that. It is a coming of age movie. It's a group of kids that they all come from different backgrounds. They're totally different kids, but they have to meet up for detention, and they have to spend these hours with each other, and they start to become a little more close-knitted once they figure, you know, each other out. And it's got a lot of heart-touching moments. It does have some funny moments. And it's the ultimate 80s cast. The Brat Pack in full form. Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, Emilio Estevez, Anthony Michael Hall, Ali Sheedy, and the principal is Paul Gleason. Once again, this is one of those movies that there's, you know, it takes a good director to make something out of not much at all. Just a group of kids that spend this afternoon with each other because they're forced to. But then they start to, you know, see one another for what they are. And it's just an all-around 10 out of 10, A+ for me. It is my favorite 80s movie by far. And I can watch it at any time. And it holds up to this day. And it's considered to be an all-time classic at this point. And if you haven't seen it, stop what you're doing now and go check it out. Because I'm sure you'll love it. And the soundtrack is amazing too. And we all know the theme song. So, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And it's a tough video to make. And there's so many that didn't make the list. Weird Science, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You know, Ghostbusters, Indiana Jones. There's too many to list. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you made it through the whole thing. And go catch a flick.